What up, world? This is the GoalNet recording live here from outside Chicago. And today we are doing our second deep dive video about the 2021 CCM EFlex 5 series. Topic of today's video is the glove and the blocker. Check out my channel for the video I already posted on the leg pads. So, first things first, graphic. Spent a lot of time talking about that in the pad video, so won't go too deep into it. But big fan of the EFlex 5 graphic. Is with basically any new graphic released by CCM, they always try and kind of outdo the one before it and add more color zones. So you can customize this thing any way you want it. I did a graphic that is kind of retro to me. It reminds me of a lot of the graphics we saw in the 90s, and it's almost like a mirror image of the Heaton Helite 3. So love this graphic. And for me personally, if anybody's looking for tips out there, I think this is a great use of the color zones. And secondly, I think doing the diagonal sock stripe kind of graphic on this pad as well looks sick too. So lots of solid choices. And then also with the way the knee roll is done on the pads, you can get crazy and make some really bold styles. I kind of mentioned this toward the end of my pad video as well, but this is probably the biggest EFlex release cycle since the original EFlex. Maybe some of the changes are subtle because EFlex is, the best selling line at retail. So yes, you want to change it. Yes, you want to improve it, but you also don't want to go too far, into uncharted territory because you may lose a lot of the things that goalies have come to know and have come to trust about EFlex. So it's always one of the challenges that I kind of respect about CCM that makes their jobs difficult actually, is trying to change a product every 2 years and, not ruin it or not do something so crazy that you lose people in the process. So I mentioned a lot of the tech changes on the pad. So again, check that video out. But the glove and the blocker have also seen the most changes since the original EFlex line. So at a high level, blocker's been thinned out. It's lighter, new cuff design. The glove has a new cuff design as well for increased motion. The big thing there that's really been changed is the closure. A lot of people that are really into gear and are very nitpicky would sometimes point out that they didn't feel like the 600 closed or sealed that well. And CCM put a lot of time and energy trying to improve that on the EFlex 5. And to that point, I've never worn a 600 glove in my life. Quite frankly, every time I try that glove on or a similar break, I always kind of find it makes my thumb uncomfortable. So it's always a break I've steered away from. However, as I do more and more gear reviews, I try and keep an open mind and I try and try new products because if I'm always using a 580 glove, it does sort of get redundant. So hearing that CCM improved the 600 this year and knowing that it's not something that I would normally gravitate to, I thought it was a great opportunity to try that break. So definitely check out the review video in a few months when I've used the gear long enough to actually talk intelligently about the performance. And then also check out a follow-up video comparing this to Axis or EFlex 4, where you'll see the traditional 580 break that if you watch my videos, I usually gravitate toward. All right, so let's take a look at the glove first, and then we will do the blocker. So really quick off the bat, maybe you're watching your first The GoalNet video. The double T pocket will be standard on this glove. One of the custom options I always do in CCM just because I'm a fan of a traditional single T pocket. I do single T +1 depth skate lace pocket. So if you buy this standard at retail, you will get the double T with nylon lace, kind of like you'll see in that picture there from the tag that comes with the product. So if we take a look at the glove and what we're trying to zoom in and show right here is what has changed with the break, because to me, that is the most significant change of this glove. And if you take a look at it, when I'm talking about the break, it's that line right there from the heel into the part where you kind of make a V on your hand to close it. And you'll see that some of the lacing has been removed, and especially in the heel, kind of toward the furthest point of the glove away from the glove tee, you'll notice that there's some white lace lines and there's sort of a left, like a bottom line and a top line creating more of a space. All of those subtle tweaks in the construction and the way that they're assembling the glove was all designed in the spirit of improving the closure of this glove. So I'll put it on and flap it in a couple minutes. And just so you know, again, if you're new to the channel or if you've forgotten, I always do game ready gloves as well. It's really good for content purposes, just seeing what things look like out of the box. So to show kind of what I was talking about before, here's a zoom in on some of the new construction of the glove. And what I'm trying to illustrate here is that it's really a U shape where there's almost kind of like a square groove in the center. When I'm saying square, we're going down, across, and up. And those are almost like right angles in there. So it's kind of like a square groove or kind of like a stick figure block U shape. It's not a V and it's not really round. But that is a lot of the things that have changed with the closure of this glove in the spirit of trying to make it seal a little bit better than the previous generation 600 gloves. So I always find this the hardest thing to film, but this is, I'm a one-man band. I don't have a camera crew, but showing the closure out of the box. So as you can see there, the seal is very good. There's no gaps at the heel, and that T is very close to closing with a little additional break-in. This will seal quite nicely. There's no weird gaps. No overlaps. And one of the things is this isn't like some of the other gloves where you can kind of tweak the break, you know, and overlap and underlap. This is just going to close right on the seam. One thing I will say compared to my Axis 580, I don't know if it's a 600 because I'm new to the break or the new construction is even though it's adequate, you know, this out of the box literally just took the plastic off it. I'm squeezing it quite fine. I don't think the closure on this one is quite as good as my Axis glove. The 580 on that was definitely the best game ready CCM I've tried. So little unsure if that's the 600, the fact that I don't close this glove particularly well, the construction, or maybe it's got a slightly stiffer one. But generally speaking, again, the seal, as you can see there when I put a little pressure, the seal has been dramatically improved and changed on this glove compared to the previous 600s. So flipping to the back side of the glove, you will see that we have the new Flex Motion backhand, which is again designed to give the glove greater flexibility and greater closure. This looks much different than any of the kind of more traditional looks on the Premier or the EFlex. And it's also different in Axis, being that it doesn't have those sort of hard molded pieces on the back. So if you look, the CCM panel there is new. It's embossed the angle, and then also the closure on the cuff of the glove. And if we take this and turn it 90 degrees as well, you can see some of the new flexible closure as well that's designed. So, you know, if you kind of have more of an aggressive fingers up stance or just range of motion for stick handling shooting, you can see this piece on the back is segmented. So you get much better flex than some of the previous generations. And then also some subtle tweaks, a lot more elastic there and on the thumb side, because as things close, they need to stretch. I'm closing the glove now, so the elastic just enables a bit more of a natural motion. Starting to see that on more and more gloves, but that's the change as well. And then some of the other standard CCM technology, like the D30 located here inside the glove, standard technology that you can expect to get, and then as well as the gripped palm as well, where you get that texturized grip material inside the palm of the glove and the wrist pad. And then you can see my other custom option there as well. I always go with the leather strap as opposed to the nylon strap on the glove. But so all the things you'd kind of come to love if you're a 600 goalie, the break is the same. You get the D30 and everything, but what's improved is the backhand closure on this glove and also the way it physically breaks in the middle. All right, and last up and definitely not least is our EFlex 5 blocker. So some of the big changes on this are very similar as well to the changes we just went in on the glove, and we'll flip the blocker over to the backhand side to check out the blocker iteration of the Flex Motion cuff. So as you can see, looking over on the backhand, there's this new embossed CCM wrist piece there, which is part of the new Flex Motion cuff system. And again, we'll do some comparison videos, but just at first blush, if you know what the backhand of an EFlex 4 blocker looks like, or an Axis blocker, this is a much different cuff design. We've got to kind of zoom in and take a look at the side angle to see what's new. There are no laces on this blocker, just as an example, which has kind of been a staple of EFlex. So if we take a look at it on one side where we traditionally had laces, now we just have elastic. So that will give with the blocker as you move. And then something kind of a la the Premier 2 cuff is we get this Velcro here. So if you're a goalie that wants a very tight, snug fit, you can see that this red piece is what moves. So this is all the way tight. That would be a really, really snug fit. And then we can unvelcro it and move it quite a bit out there. And you can see how much, if you take a look down here, there's that Velcro pad. So you can see how much space you have. So you're able to extend the cuff of the blocker right here, probably about 2 inches out. So if you follow the videos, you'll know I want my blocker tight in this area. So on the back hand of the palm, I want it tight. And then up here, I want my cuff as loose as possible. So I will probably wear the blocker like this when I actually get it out on the ice tomorrow. If we turn the blocker over on its side to check it out, one of the things you'll notice as well is that similar to Axis, the blocker profile has been thinned out quite a bit. That's just basically reducing excess material, which adds weight to the blocker. EFlex, a light reactionary goalie, we gotta have that blocker as light as possible. So that's one of the changes there. When I'm talking about thinned out board, it's this front piece on the blocker here. So the distance between the black seam on the back and that front bindingless edge is what's been thinned out. And then my favorite change to this blocker, pretty subtle, is I like the straight finger protection, which is the unit down there that covers your index finger. The other option is a triangular piece there. And traditionally, when you got the straight finger protection, you got a binding on your blocker sidewall. I hate bindings. I want them eliminated wherever it makes sense. So love to see that I can get the clean maximum coverage here on EFlex 5 of the bindingless sidewall, but then I can also get my preferred straight finger protection. So subtle tweak, but if you're somebody like myself that uses every iteration of the CCM gear, you get really excited when some of those little nuances you didn't like about the previous generation are fixed. The same way with Axis, the tight fit palm became available. I always found the CCM glove to feel a little bit too loose. And when I say loose, it's not the palm size. CCM blockers truly have that like perfect palm size. But what's improved is the fit between the back of the blocker board and the back of your palm. So this has the tight fit option as well. So that's new on EFlex. So this glove is very snug in this area and then loose up at the wrist. And then you can also see we've got the Nash grip there. When we come right here, we have that orange material is the high impact absorbing D3O. So basically if a puck gets past the straight finger protection, you have a little bit extra on your index finger, but as you can see, does not limit the range of motion at all. And again, the palm size on the CCM gloves is always perfect and really good flexibility, as you can see there, and then adjustable cuff there as well. Sorry, set the camera. And as you can see, after I opened it up, quite a good range of motions. This is definitely how I will be wearing this blocker. All right, so this has been the deep dive of the glove and the blocker. Real quick summary: new closure on the glove, new flex backhand. On the blocker, we have a thinned out profile, new backhand as well, and the tight fit palm option. Hopefully you love this video. Check back in for the review and the comparison to EFlex and Axis. I don't know why it matters if you subscribe, because hopefully I'm easily findable in a search engine or on YouTube, but everybody says it in their YouTube videos. So do me a favor and subscribe down below and throw me a like. And any comments you have, questions, throw them down below and I'll respond. This is the GoalNet signing out.